Tuned into the boom room, the livest show in fantasy. Yeah. Welcome to host Walt, Igler, Beat It Fantasy League. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, rocking with the best. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, roster is a mess. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, in it for the checks. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, in it for respect. Few things to address. D5 think he fly.
Welcome to week 10 of the boom room, man. Feel like I've been gone for a while, but I'm back. Hey, listen, I want to give a shout out to everybody who reached out about the little minor fender bender I had. I appreciate it. Good looking. I go to the smack board though, and Seth like, fuck that. What's going on with such and such, such and such? I'm like, damn, dog. No, I don't know you. I know you ain't mean like that. Now, let's get on to the action. First up, Machiavellians versus Negro. Negro had 4 players give him at least 20 points. Mac had 9 players give him 88. See where I'm going with this? Nice win, Negro. Mac, back to the drawing board. Next up, G5 versus Arizona Ron. G5 had 3 players score at least 20, another 2 score at least 17. Arizona Ron had 9 players score 88. Way to tie your shoes, G5. Arizona Ron, back to the drawing board. Now on 2, El Cajinos versus Return of the Jedi. Joe Mixon led the Jedis with 17 points. However, the champs had at least 4 players score 17 points. See the theme that's going here? Once again, we get another blowout. The champs just keep rolling. The injuries making the Jedis just look like an expansion team. Can we get a competitive game? Now on 2, Jabronis versus the Legends. Hey, listen, this is a big game in our league. 2 of the heavyweights going at it. How will it turn out? Kind of like the previous 3 games we talked about, but this game really was a tale of 2 defenses. Jabronis had the Browns defense that scored 34 points. The Legends had the Bills defense that scored 4 points. Jabronis got a 31-point victory. You do the math. Nice win, Jabronis. Legends leaking a little bit of oil. Now on 2, whooping that ass versus Body Bag. Finally, a good game. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, they came to play. But however, whooping that ass didn't really get any big contributions from anybody else. Baker Mayfield, the Raiders D, and a 30 ball from the newly acquired CD No Skip Lamb. That's what I call him. What a game. Propelled. He put him in the position to win. It came down to Sunday night. Bengals. Bills. Corey had the Bengals defense, which was a curious play to me. But at the end of the day, he needed 17 points from the defense to win. And they gave him 14. And Body Bag is able to escape with a very subpar game from Jamar Chase. Body Bag, keep winning them close ones. Whooping that ass. Might be a little bit of trouble. Now on 2, the best game of the week. TNT, the higher power. Listen, these 2 teams get together, throw the records out. I mean, really, throw the records out. What a game. Both teams went at it, slugging back and forth. Joe Burrow with 32. Jonathan Taylor with 18. Cole Kmet with 23. Cole Kmet, 23. Listen, Eckler had 21 for TNT. Higgins, making his first start, had 20. Hawkinson with 14. But the big news of the day, CJ Stroud with a 60-piece. Are you kidding me? And it still wasn't enough to put the higher power away early. It still came down to Monday night. Jets, Chargers, Eckler in the little lead versus the defense from the Chargers and Breece Hall. The game was in a balance all the way. The Chargers return a fumble. It looks like the higher power is going to get the victory. And he steps out at the 2. And he was pushed out by all people. Breece Hall. Oh, TNT escapes the nail biter. TNT, has this much hope. The higher power has this much hope. What a game. Welcome back to the Boom Room. It's that time. Getting analytical. Getting analytical. Come on, sing it at home. Getting analytical. Getting analytical. All right, without further ado, we're going to go from the teams with the highest percentage chance to make the playoffs all the way to the lowest. And nobody has been mathematically eliminated, so everybody still has odds to make the playoffs. Let's start with who the analytics give the best odds to. It says right now, they are the team with the most likely chance to end with the number 1 seed. And that is the Jabronis. The Jabronis have a 95% chance to make the playoffs. And his counterpart, I know is like, which is El Cajinos. They both sit there with 2 losses. El Cajinos has a 90% chance to make the playoffs. And the difference comes down to the remaining schedule. The computer, the analytics feels that Jabroni's schedule is much easier than the champs. Thus far, he has a higher chance at making the playoffs. Who's next, you say, with the third best odds? Did you guess? G5. Analytics gives G5 an 88% chance to make the playoffs because he has arguably the weakest schedule by records of opponents remaining. So G5 is right now looked with the third best odds of making the playoffs. Who's fourth? Negro. What? Analytics gives him an 84.2% chance to make the playoffs. Listen, if anybody's going to hold up, we know Negro's going to hold up, right? He ain't going to slip and mess up, right? Listen, 84% chance, you got the fourth best odds right now. Then it becomes a little drop off. So right now, the analytics say those 4 teams should feel pretty good about themselves. It's going to take kind of a major collapse for one of those 4 not to make it. Now, the team with the next best odds, Lincoln Legends, comes in at 54%. Now, the analytics says not this week, but next week is the huge game on his schedule. And I know you're thinking, he plays Return of the Jedi. But the analytics says if Justin Fields and Justin Jefferson comes back, that game changes dramatically. So, analytics says if the Legends win his next 2, his odds go all the way up to 80. But if he loses one of these next 2, he drops down to 50%. Technically, a coin flip. Who's next? At 52%, it's Body Bag. Body Bag is at 52%. I know you're saying, what's the difference here? Body Bag has the toughest schedule of the teams left on his tier and below. So the analytics says it's a 52% chance that he makes it because they think he has enough of a cushion where he can sustain a couple of losses. Who's next? I know you wonder, who's next? Machiavellians. Machiavellians has a 51% chance to make the playoffs. Listen, it's really this simple between Machiavellians and Body Bag. They play each other, I believe it's in 2 or 3 weeks. And the analytics basically says the winner of that game should be able to make the playoffs. Boom. Who's next? This is a weird one. We talked about this early. This team is all over the place. It's Return of the Jedi. The analytics says He has Arizona Ron this week. He has to beat Arizona Ron this week. If he beats Arizona Ron and gets both of the Justins back next week, the analytics says Return of the Jedi has a 41% chance to make the playoffs. Yes, 41% chance. But they say if he loses to Arizona Ron and or the Justice don't come back next week, his odds plummet all the way down to 13%. That's very interesting. Who's next? TNT. TNT, the analytics gives a 36% chance to make the playoffs. I know what you're saying. Come on. Like, really, come on. Listen. It's two teams that's leaking oil in front of him. He plays one of them. So he needs, and when I say leaking oil, we're talking about Lincoln Legends and we're talking about whooping that ass. They're both 2 victories in front of TNT. TNT actually plays the Legends again, and he already beat them head to head. So he just needs the Legends to lose one more game along the way. And believe it or not, TNT will control his own destiny to the playoffs. Am I home alone, Kevin? That leaves one team left. The higher power. The higher power, believe it or not, has a 20% chance to make the playoffs. And why is that, you say? It's kind of similar to the path that TNT has. The higher power still has both Lincoln Legends and whipping that ass on the schedule. If he runs the table, it's a good chance that he passes or at least ties one of those teams, and he will have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So, the playoffs start this week for the higher power. There you have it. We got analytical with every franchise. Hope you agree with the numbers. If not, let's talk about it. Getting analytical. Getting analytical. Woo! Man, that was a fun show. I hope you like where your team is at right now. Like I said, nobody's mathematically eliminated. But having said that, let's get on to the game of the week. Listen, I'm laughing here, and we all know why I'm laughing when you hear it. Game of the week, G5, El Gallinos. Can't wait to talk about it next week in a boom room.
In it for respect, few things to address. G5 think he fly, he the Jets. Always number one, now opposite is Seth. Put JR in body bag, I must confess. Some owners play checkers, Kajinos play chess. Me, T, and do really like Clay, Dre, and Steph. Don't do too much talking, they still wanna press. The main ones just talking, they team don't impress.